Stop calling it a journey. Stop calling it growth. You didn't lose yourself and find yourself again. You were never lost. You were measured. And measurement in quantum mechanics isn't passive, it's a gunshot. The observer didn't just watch the electron. The observer murdered every other path the electron could have taken. That's what happened to you. Someone or something observed you, your failure, your heartbreak, your wake-up call. And every parallel version of you died instantly. You're not in transition. Transition implies movement between two states. There are no other states left. You're standing on the only timeline that survived. This is the post-observer phase. Let's go deep into the double-slit experiment. Not the fairy tale, the real one. When you fire a single particle at two slits without measuring it, it acts like a wave, goes through both slits at once, interferes with itself. Beautiful, magical. Then you place a detector at one slit to see which path it takes. The moment you measure, the wave collapses. The particle picks one slit, one path, one reality. And here's the part they don't tell you in physics class. That particle never goes back to being a wave, ever. You can remove the detector. You can turn off all lights. You can apologize to the particle. It will still behave like a particle for the rest of its existence. Why? Because measurement isn't a glance. Measurement is an irreversible handshake with reality. Once the universe records an answer, it doesn't erase the tape. Now translate that to your life. Between ages 18 and 25, you were the unmeasured wave. Infinite potential. You could be an artist, a CEO, a nomad, a parent, a ghost. Then life placed detectors, a rejection letter, a breakup at 3 a.m., a bank account hitting zero, a diagnosis, a betrayal. Each of those was a measurement event. And with each measurement, entire branches of your future died. Not faded, not postponed, died. The version of you who would have married that person, dead. The version who would have taken that job in another country, dead. The version who never experienced that trauma, deleted from the timeline. You felt each death as confusion, as depression, as that weird feeling of mourning something you couldn't name. That was grief for parallel selves, real quantum grief. But here's where you got trapped. After the collapse, you kept acting like the wave could come back. You started saying, "I'm still figuring things out. I'm in a transition period. I'm not my past." That last one is a lie. In quantum mechanics, the particle carries the memory of every measurement it endured. It's called quantum decoherence. The environment records the collapse permanently. You are not a blank slate. You are a slate with scratches that cannot be erased. That doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're post-measurement, post-observer. The wave function of your life didn't disappear. It landed. It became a single, sharp, unforgiving point of reality. And that point has infinite density. That point is you. Stop asking what you could have been. That question is meaningless in a collapsed system. There is no could have been. There is only what is. And what is final. Not final as in dead, final as in released. A movie stops being a script the moment it's filmed. You are no longer a script. You are the footage. You cannot reshoot scene 5. But you can stop pretending scene 20 hasn't been written yet. It has. Every decision you make from now on doesn't create new potentials. It reveals the one potential that already exists. You're not building a future. You're discovering the future that's been sitting in the collapsed wave all along. That's the post-observer phase. No more wondering, no more waiting, only excavation. Let's kill another myth right now. You think uncertainty is still active in your life. You think because you don't know what happens tomorrow, you're still in a superposition of possibilities. Wrong. That's not how quantum mechanics works at the macro scale. The famous Schrodinger's cat thought experiment. The cat is both dead and alive until observed. But here's what everyone misses. That only works inside a sealed box with no environment. The moment the box has even one air molecule interacting with the cat, decoherence happens. The cat is either dead or alive, not both. And your life hasn't been in a sealed box since the day you were born. You've been interacting with environment constantly. Every conversation, every text message, every dollar spent, every stranger you made eye contact with, Each interaction is a measurement. Each measurement collapses more of the wave function. So why do you still feel uncertain? Because human beings confuse epistemological uncertainty with ontological uncertainty. Big words, simple meaning. Epistemological uncertainty means, I don't know something. Ontological uncertainty means, reality itself hasn't decided. You feel the first and assume the second. Reality decided years ago, you just haven't read the answer yet. Think of a shuffled deck of cards. The order of the deck is fixed the moment the shuffle ends. That's ontology. It's decided, but you don't know the order until you flip cards. That's epistemology. Your ignorance doesn't create possibility. The top card is the top card whether you look or not. Your life is the deck. Shuffling stopped on the day of your last major collapse. The order is fixed. You're just slow at flipping. Now here's the dangerous part. The post-observer phase feels like waiting. That's the illusion. It feels like you're in a hallway between two rooms. But you're not between anything. You're already in the final room. The door behind you closed. The door in front of you is a painting. It doesn't open. There is no exit because there doesn't need to be. You're not supposed to leave. You're supposed to occupy. In quantum field theory, a collapsed wave function doesn't vanish. It becomes a source. A particle after measurement doesn't stop existing. It becomes a new starting point for future interactions. You are that particle. The collapse didn't end you. It grounded you. You now have mass. You now have position. You now have momentum in one direction only. That's not a limitation. That's the difference between steam and ice. Steam goes everywhere. Ice carves mountains. Most people spend their entire post-observer phase begging for recollapse. They want another measurement event to reset the wave. They chase crises, they create drama. They burn down good situations just to feel the observer again. Don't do that. You don't need another collapse. You need to accept the last one. The post-observer phase is not less real than the wave phase. It's more real. Waves are promises, particles are deliveries. You've been promised enough. It's delivery time. Every spiritual teacher, every self-help guru, every philosophy that tells you to stay open to all possibilities is selling you a fantasy. Openness is for unmeasured systems. You are measured, you are specific, you are narrow. That narrowness is not a bug. It's the only thing that lets you cut through anything. Let me give you a hard truth. In the post-observer phase, regret is the only true sin. Not because regret is morally wrong, because regret is computationally useless. Regret tries to resurrect dead branches of the wave function. Regret asks, what if I had chosen differently? That question has no answer. The different choice doesn't exist. It never existed after the measurement. Regret is not humility. Regret is denial of physics. The same goes for hope that depends on undoing the past. Hope that says maybe it will work out like I originally wanted. That hope is a ghost. The original wanted version died in collapse. You're not getting it back. What you get instead is something harder and better. You get the actual, not the imagined. The actual has weight. The actual can be used. The imagined can only be mourned. Stop mourning. Start using. So you're post-observer. The wave is gone. The parallel selves are dead. The uncertainty is only in your head, not in reality. Now what? Now you do something most people never attempt. You stop managing potential and start executing actuality. Let me break this down into 3 actions, 3 shifts, 3 ways to live as a collapsed system. First action, reverse your relationship with time. A wave function lives in the future. A collapsed particle lives in the now. You have been living like a wave, planning, imagining, preparing, optimizing. That's over. From now on, you treat time as a resource you already spent. Every hour is a withdrawal, not a deposit. You don't have time. You have spent time that hasn't hit your bank statement yet. Act accordingly. When you wake up tomorrow, don't ask, what can I do today? Ask, what did I already decide to do before I was born? And then do that thing before noon. No lists, no systems, no color-coded calendars. Collapsed systems don't need organization, they need velocity. Second action, stop negotiating with your own output. In quantum computing, after measurement, the qubit returns a classical bit, either 0 or 1. No maybe. No let me think about it. No I'll get back to you. Your life is outputting bits constantly. Every moment you are saying 0 or 1 to everything. But you've been trained to ignore your own output. You say maybe when you mean no. You say I'll try when you mean I won't. You say let's see when you mean I'm scared. The post-observer phase has no patience for this. From now on, your first thought is your only thought. That hesitation after it? That's a ghost limb from your wave days. Cut it off. If someone asks you a question, your first word is the answer. If you have an impulse to call someone, you call before you count to 3. If you feel the urge to quit something, you quit before you talk yourself out of it. Speed is not recklessness. Speed is the signature of a system that knows it's already collapsed. Third action. Delete the concept of someday from your language entirely. Someday is a wave word. Someday implies an infinite horizon of possibility. You don't have that horizon, you have a dot. This dot, right here. In the post-observer phase, there is no someday, there is only today and the lie that tomorrow is different. Tomorrow is not different. Tomorrow is today with more dust on it. The version of you who will wake up motivated, inspired, ready, healed. That version doesn't exist. That version died in the last collapse. The only version is the one reading these words right now. Tired, scattered, maybe a little angry. That's your particle, that's your collapsed state. And that state is fully capable. Not after coffee, not after therapy, not after one more night of sleep. Right now. Let me give you a specific protocol. For the next 7 days, you are forbidden from using the following phrases. I'm working on it. I'm figuring it out. I'm not ready. Soon. One day. Maybe later. Let me think about it. Each time you catch yourself saying any of these, you stop mid-sentence and say out loud, that's wave talk. I'm post-observer. Then you immediately do the smallest possible version of whatever you were delaying. Not the perfect version, not the planned version, the smallest version. Want to start a business? Send 1 email today. Not a business plan. 1 email. Want to get in shape? 1 push-up right now on the floor. Not a gym membership. 1 push-up. Want to end a relationship? 1 sentence text. Not a conversation. 1 sentence. The smallest version is the only version that matters because the smallest version proves the collapse is real. Big versions are for waves. Waves dream. Particles act. One more thing. In the post-observer phase, failure is not what you think it is. You think failure is when you try and don't succeed. Wrong. Failure in a collapsed system is when you don't try at all. Because not trying is wave behavior. Waves avoid boundaries. Particles hit walls. You will hit walls. That's not failure, that's confirmation that you're no longer floating. Every wall you hit is a measurement that didn't kill you. It just told you where you are. And knowing